The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
We are back. New York Met baseball. Speaking loosely, of course, I'm Ralph Tycho of the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, and it really isn't baseball that they're playing as we know it these days. Marty Rose is here. Robert Cole is here. We're expecting a guest. Perhaps he'll show, perhaps he won't. But we got to face the music. This has been one of the worst stretches in Metsville, certainly this year. And we're all three of us, as lifelong Met fans, asked the question: just why do we root for this team? With apologies to Robert, who put it into words before. So let's start for you. Why do we root for this team, and is there any hope for the rest of the year?
Oh, boy. Like I said, as soon as that ball was hit in the bottom of the ninth inning, I got up, grabbed my keys, went out to my car, left the TV running, went to the store, walked around to the store for a while. It was like unbelievable. Like I wrote to you guys, okay, I wrote a memo to Mickey Callaway, okay. You go into the bottom of the ninth inning with a one-run lead, okay. Why don't you bring your closer in? That's why they call him a closer. That's when you bring him in. And for the life of me, I don't understand why he didn't bring him in at that moment.
Well, just to play devil's advocate to what you're saying, we don't know what the communique between Familia and Callaway was. Maybe Familia was not feeling up to it. Maybe it was a situational thing. He hasn't been exactly lights out in the past week or so.
I have the answer, Ralph.
Okay. We all should root for the Yankees and stop this weekend.
No, so
that's not as good an answer. If you'd have given me that answer 55 years ago, and you had the opportunity, you could have worded it. We might be happier old guys now. But what's the answer, Mert?
They decided that they were going to go 2 innings with Lugo because of the second game. They didn't want to use another pitcher because they had the second game to deal with. So it was already said that Lugo was going to go 2 innings.
I understand that, but I was always taught when you have a chance to win the first game, okay, you win the first game, and you worry about the second game later. Now the second game is in a rain delay and may not even be played.
Well, that's all true. I don't know what to say except that Lugo had, just before that 8th inning, he had 17 consecutive scoreless innings, and he was really pitching well. So they had made the decision.
Hey, and sometimes you got to tip your hat to the other team too. He might have pitched a good ball that was, hit by almost by accident sometimes.
Yeah, I don't even think this guy had a home run all year. The guy who
This was his first home run, and he was hitting .205 when they sent him up to hit.
Terrible.
Chitter.
Just terrible.
Well, it looks bad. Hey, other than that, DeGrom is getting to the point where, I don't know who mentioned this, you got to start considering him for Cy Young down the road.
Yeah, you do. And, when Felix Rodriguez won it a couple of years ago with not a very impressive record, it was because of the same sort of thing that DeGrom is going through. He'd leave games ahead. His team would lose the lead, lose the game. And, when he's pitching, he's lights out. And like I said in one of my comments, okay, he waved the manager away. I think Callaway was coming out to get him, and he had the 2 outs, and he pointed to the dugout, waved away, and he went out and he got that third out himself. And that really impressed me.
Yeah, that's a very good sign. I want to touch on one other thing. We were talking about relief pitching, and the closer is the closer, and this, that, and the other thing. What do you guys think about situational relief? Say the game is on the line in the seventh inning, and a guy, second and third, 2 outs, this, that, and the other thing. You got your closer. He matches up with it's a righty against a righty, say in the case of Familia. Perfect time to bring him in. If it were the ninth, you'd obviously bring him in. But there's the case to be made and the theory that this whole thing with closers has really gotten out of hand. Situational guys, this guy's for the eighth, this guy's for the ninth. Hey, it's a big time in the game. The game could be on the line in a non-save situation. So I'll start with you, Marty. What do you think about all of that? And is there going to be a revamp of the way we've been going at it for the last 30 years, keeping in mind that guys would come in at all different times when we were growing up, that there was no set, with a few exceptions, Hoyt Wilhelm, right face, but a lot of times, even with the Yankee great teams, it was, Ali Reynolds coming in to relieve and this, that, and the other thing. So what are your thoughts along those lines, Marty?
Well, my opinion on that is, if you have a guy that is a shutdown guy, yeah, he could come in, at some other time besides the ninth inning. But the question is, how quick can the guy warm up? Because some of these situations can develop in like one or 2 minutes. 2 hits in a row or whatever happens like immediately. But when the guy's warming up to be a closer, he starts getting loose in the eighth inning. He goes through his whole routine to get ready. I mean, I don't know if a guy can get ready in like 2 or 3 minutes when a situation could develop that fast.
Right.
On paper, it's
understand. That's a very, very good point. And another thing is these guys are negotiating based on their pecking order in either the starting rotation or the bullpen. So if you're asking them to adjust to not only a new way of proving your mettle when it comes to contract time, but, be a little flexible. You may ask them, and get up when we need you. And isn't the game more important than anything, winning that game? And you said it perfectly, Robert. The second game, if you're playing what's going to happen in the second game, what's going to be happening down the road, not looking to win the game you're playing, that second game may not even be played. or you may not need a bullpen in the second game at all. Your starter may jump up and pitch more than the 5 innings the Mets pitchers are
since it's P.J. Conlon going, I would think the bullpen's going to be needed rather quickly.
Yes, that's true, too.
I was wondering what the hell happened to Oswalt. And, I thought this was going to be set up perfectly for Oswalt to finally get his start. But he's back in Las Vegas on the DL with some kind of injury. So.
And that surprises you, Marty? that a Met player has an injury?
Yeah, it's a lat. So, God, that could be a long time.
Yeah.
Now, what is that? If I just off the top of my head, I forget what that is. Just
a lat injury?
Yeah.
It's like, isn't that underneath the armpit someplace?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
slipped my mind. I wasn't thinking armpits on Memorial Day.
Hey, if you're talking about the Mets, you got to be thinking about armpits.
You got to be thinking of memorials too. I'll say they're going to memorialize this season really shortly if we have another week or two like this. This has been horrible. You score 17 runs against any team, and you got to doubt, what do we got going here? What kind of depth? And I don't see anybody on the horizon that is coming up. Nobody is making noise, pushing the envelope at AA, putting up stats that this person could give us a spark.
That's why I wanted to talk to that guy Jeremy, because I was going to ask him about some of these guys at Binghamton, looking at the lineup. I mean, the statistics for Binghamton. I mean, there's like one guy, a starter, who's 5-2 with a 3.06, 50 innings, 51 strikeouts, and I looked him up. His name is Nabil Chrismat. He's from Colombia. He's one of these kids that they probably signed like 16 or 17 years old. He's only 23, so he could turn out to be something. But that's why I wanted to ask Jeremy about. Hopefully he'll come on next week. We'll see. And they have two guys that have been closing. One guy's got 8 saves. His name is Eric Hanhold. And another guy, Tyler Bachelor, has 7 saves. And, they got a fair amount of strikeouts. Not bad. But, that's it. It's like maybe 3 guys. And this is double.
Okay.
You can't look at the statistics in AAA because they're so skewed out in Las Vegas that they're totally meaningless. Offensively, you know about Alonso, the first baseman. He's right-handed, 14 homers, 42 ribbies, 333 average, but he's not on the 40-man. That's how I was wondering. Maybe when Wilmer went down, maybe they'd bring him up, but he's not on the 40-man.
Well, I think the longer they keep him off the 40-man, the longer the clock starts running, and they get to keep him longer. And unfortunately, that's how baseball decisions, on-field decisions, are made by financial needs and, all of that. And I think that's, I don't know if it was like that as much when we were kids.
No, it was not.
We weren't talking about millions and millions of dollars back then.
Yeah, that's true, but we were still talking about big bucks compared to Johnny Lunchbucket, you and me working, that type of thing. It was still, but now it's just gigantic. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's totally out of control at this point.
Yeah, no question. Let's go around the horn and see how we stand. I'll start with the catchers, and I think now Pilecki just came back from the DL. The catcher they got for Harvey is doing very well, and the way I look at it, this is the best they've been situated catching-wise in the last 3 years. Now, I'm not saying Darno, before he started getting hurt, wasn't doing a nice job. I remember he was hitting, and there was high hopes, and It was the day that Blevins got hurt and Darno got hurt in the same inning. You remember that, Mert?
Yes.
And Robert?
Terrible.
And that really set them back. So I look at that as a plus. I look at, I'll start with you, Robert. Let's go to first base.
Well, first base is a bit of a problem. You have Adrian Gonzalez. I don't think he's giving them really what they hoped for or expected. He's a good defensive first baseman, but now they're starting to use Bruce there more often. And the backup had been Flores, Wilmer, Flores, and so he's on the DL now.
After having to go play third base because Frazier was on the DL.
Right. And Dominic.
So it's like domino. You got dominoes going.
Yep.
It's crazy. Okay, second base, Mert.
Well, Asdrubal is having a terrific year, but this is the last year of his deal. At his age, I don't think they're going to re-sign him. Now, they got this kid, Guillerme, who, he's a possibility. I don't think they've got anybody down on the farms. They got some kid, another thing on this kid from Binghamton, second baseman, Jeff McNeil, 318, 12 homers, 32 RBIs. Who is this guy? Where did he come from? I take a look. The guy's already 26 years old. So, he's like almost past his prime already, and he's only in Double-A. So, I don't know how good the guy can be. And he's got 7 errors, which is not good. So.
Well, you also say Double-A. Double-A is a step away from the majors.
Oh, yeah.
I think as many players come out of Double-A as do Triple-A these days. Triple-A could be more of a league for 4A players.
That's exactly it. These guys that are yo-yos,
right? Up and
They go
down.
up, they go down. They go up, they go down. Somebody gets hurt, they come for 10 days, they go back.
How many chances? Like, give the kid they just brought up,
Evans,
the relief pitcher, Robles.
Oh, Robles.
Every time he comes in, I want to turn off the radio.
Gas man.
Yeah, I like
yes, But so that said, how many times are they going to keep going back to him? Like they send him down, they expect him to come up and be Raboski or something. You just him. Guys, after a while,
coming back soon, I think. Not that he's going to be anything great, but who knows? That guy they signed, he's been hurt all year, Swarzak.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
should be back.
Yes. That was a big signing at the time. That was supposed to help solidify stuff.
Yeah.
I want to say that with Blevins, it's like 3 good years. What do you expect eventually? You could say it that way, or you could say, well, we had Blevins and he's solid. We can depend on him. But it's hard to build a bullpen because these guys vacillate from year to year so much in their effectiveness.
Yeah, they do.
So I can't entirely blame Alderson because when he brought Blevins in, he got good innings out of him. So now that he's not doing well, what do you say? But I'll tell you what you do say. Callaway and the pitching coach, I can't think of his name right now.
Dave Island.
They don't have good grades for the first part of the year. You can't say they particularly succeeded with Harvey. That's for sure. Although I'd rather have the catcher than Harvey at this point.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
So there's a plus for Alderson. It's tough to come up with a report card. So I'll continue to go around the horn with Mert at shortstop.
Well, I mean, this kid Rosario looks like it's his first full year. I basically like what I see. I think he can be a good player. I don't think you need to look further right now. I think he's looked good. His fielding has gotten better than I think it was last year. He hit a couple of homers recently. He's getting a few hits. I think you stay with him.
Okay. Now, Reyes, his position must be just as a mentor to Rosario. He's taken up a roster spot for that, the way I see it. And I'll go to Robert Cole. Do you see him contributing in any way other than as that guy in the dugout to keep it together?
No. I think he has nothing left in the tank. He's basically a shadow of himself. And what you say about him being the mentor to Rosario, that's really about all he is right now.
Okay. That's an expensive roster spot, the way I see things.
Well, when Frazier comes back, could be sayonara for Reyes.
Right.
Okay. How far out is he, Frazier?
He's in Las Vegas, although he has not started his rehab yet. He went there to start a rehab. Supposed to start it this week, I think. So once he does that, he probably need maybe 3 games or so.
And this is a hammy, am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember the gut reaction I had last week or the week before when I found out from you guys. I just confirmed that it was a hamstring. Those things can really last. They can linger.
Yeah, it depends on the severity. He did say he never had a hammy before, so he's kind of, he can't give an estimate because he's never had the injury before.
Yeah, but it's also good that he never had the injury before because very often those are repeat. So
true. Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it was just one of those things, and he'll.
Yeah, maybe not rushing him is a good idea.
Yeah.
So Flores down, Frazier's still out. Who they have a third right now?
Well, Reyes was starting the second game at third tonight. If they ever play it.
Guilherme played the first game at third base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can play second or third.
Of course, Bautista can play third also.
Right.
That's right. That's why Milwaukee. That's why the Braves signed him.
Right.
And had him play third base in the minors, thinking he'd come up, be a little more versatile. So maybe they go to that. But now you got 2 old guys at first and third, and I don't know.
Temporary look. They need Frazier back, and they need Cespedes back. And there's no offense. And Bruce has been terrible. I mean, I don't know what happened to him. Like, fell off the face of the earth. I mean, last year he was pretty good.
Right. He helped them a lot when they first got him.
A lot of offense.
Yeah. Conforto's showing signs. Trying to look for something positive before I spit up my dinner.
Yeah.
You don't hear that. You don't hear that on the radio very often.
No.
Well, and that's a good thing. But yes, he is starting to hit. I love Nemo. What a terrific outfield he's played. And with Lagares getting hurt, surprise, surprise, he's gone for the year. Some guys find a way to get hurt. I don't know. But it's been like 3 or 4 years now. He showed some nice flashes. I think he actually won a Gold Glove. Am I not?
Yes.
Am I wrong about that?
Nope.
He did, yeah.
He did.
Yeah. So that's been a disappointment. As you say, Bruce isn't doing jack. But, you could look at a guy's baseball card, and all you can hope for is that at the season's end, things will even out. These are still small numbers, to base things on. We're well into the season. This is the time. But things could be turned around. I heard a commentator talking about Paul Goldschmidt. Now, what would you do? How would you feel if you had Paul Goldschmidt 2 horrible months in a row, preceded by 3 or 4 really big years? How do you judge? What do you say? Do you you can't give up hope for a guy like that?
No, you don't judge his season on what's happening right now. He could turn it around. We could be talking, the end of September, and he's got his numbers back up again. So,
yeah, it may not be his best year of his career, but he certainly can be solid and decent. So with that in mind, Bruce, Cespedes, Conforto's already showing signs. If you get Cespedes back, you got Nemo in center, Cespedes in left, Nemo in center, say Conforto in right, and Bruce playing first, primarily.
Yeah, well,
that's a possibility that can make him look good. And then you get down the road, you get Flores back. You're back to having a little bit of depth. And perhaps, Sandy could say maybe a deal needs to be made along the way. They shouldn't be standing pat at this point.
No, you almost have to look at starting pitching. And, when spring training started, we would have laughed about the fact that, they don't need a starting pitcher. But, right now they need a starting pitcher. Behind,
they went out and got Vargas, and I was one who thought, boy, that solidifies them. That gives them a little bit of depth, a little bit. Something goes wrong, and something will along 162 games. You'll have something.
Yeah.
And he has been shit on a shingle.
Yeah, we have something. We have heartburn every time he pitches.
Right. Yeah. Right, because. So how do you judge a general manager, not just Alderson, but any general manager, who signs a guy like that? A solid guy, not the best of pitchers, and there was certainly a number 4 guy who'd be happy to have as a number 3 or 4 guy, and he just gives you nothing.
Well, I'm sure that Ireland had a lot to say about that.
Oh, yeah, because he had him in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
in Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City.
He was with them last year.
Right.
So
and he won like 16 or 18 games last year.
And what else do you judge a pitching coach by but moves like that, but judgments like that? And then again, how much is the coach can't go out there and throw for you? Maybe he's... I don't know, maybe he's hurt and we don't know about it. That wouldn't be the first time that the Mets announced something in September. Well, Island's going to go in for an MRI, or not Island, but Vargas, for instance. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, just like what happened.
Anything to do with the medical staff would not surprise me, no.
Right. And you guys, ask rhetorically why they signed Batista. Another old guy with this, that, and the other thing. I think that from a business standpoint, they may be cultivating a fan base in New York that has served them well over the years, from the time they were in the Polo Grounds. And that's the Latin American folks.
Oh, yeah. The Mets,
well, I mean, the Mets have always been pretty well represented in recent years. You know, I mean, the knock on them several years ago was that Latin players didn't want to play in the Met organization, and you know, that's changed over the last couple of years. You know, last few years. So I mean, I don't think getting Batista was going to appease anybody. I think they got him out of desperation. You know, they needed a little pop. Unfortunately, he hasn't shown much pop, although he's gotten a few hits since he's been here and gotten a couple of doubles. But, you know, I just think they signed him out of desperation.
Yeah.
Oh, they need another right-handed bat. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Desperately. So.
Well, with that in mind, I'm surprised they haven't already gone to him at third, or at least is he taking grounders?
He's played at third already.
He has been playing third.
Yeah, not every day, but yeah, he's played.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They played him at third. They played him in left field.
Yeah.
He played left field in the first game.
Okay, guys, let's hope this week is a better one. I think they come home along Friday. Do they come home?
Yeah, after this Atlanta series, they come home. So they got that would be Thursday, I guess, right? Thursday they come home and they play the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so yes, that is 4-game set starting Thursday with the Cubbies.
Big one.
They're playing 4 with Atlanta too, right?
Yeah, because this was supposed to be 3, but tonight's game is the makeup game of a rainout. So yeah, 4.
Has that been officially rained out?
No.
Oh, okay. So it still might.
Tonight's game? No, tonight's game is the makeup game.
Yeah, but it hasn't been rained out tonight.
Oh, not yet. No. One. That's why they're playing 2 games today, because one of them was a makeup game. Well, at least I got the Orioles after the Cubs, so that's a good thing. Orioles are terrible.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
They are.
Hey, listen, guys, this was a good show. Very informative, and under the circumstances, with all 3 of us just being fairly dejected. It's been not a good week, and I think we made the best of it. We showed a few positive things. At least we're holding out hope on a few positive things. So none of us are going to the oven and opening it up and putting our heads in it and saying, and burning our Met caps along the way.
Well, I was ready to throw my Met cap onto the barbecue grill tonight, but I said I'll give it a couple more games.
Well, I've had moments like that, as we say, for many a year.
I like those caps they were wearing for Memorial Day, you know, the green army color. And then I said,
that,
you know what?
like a fatigue cap, cap.
Yeah, I said, you know, if I bought that, what's it going to remind me of? It's going to remind me of losing 17-6, and it's going to remind me of today's debacle. So
right.
I don't think I'm going to buy that.
No. And you're probably not going to buy the white one that with the blue bill that they wore back in the 80s. Once I turn on the television and they're wearing a white hat with the blue bill. It looked like the Good Humor Man. And I'm a traditionalist with uniforms. I think
I didn't care for the orange
that go.
caps either.
Have you ever seen the Arizona Diamondbacks in the same uniform twice over the course of a month? Some of them are pretty cool, I must say, but the majority of them
pretty ugly.
Pardon me?
I said the road uniforms are pretty ugly.
But there's 2 or 3 of those too. So some of them are lesser. You judge them not on any of them are good. You say, well, that's less ugly than the other one.
Or more ugly. Well, you probably
or more ugly than the other.
You know.
What's the over and under on ugly? All right, guys. If I had to say wins, remember we do this occasionally. I think we were up to 90 a while back. Remember last week at this time we were 4 games over 500. So
we're even.
Let's go around the room, Robert. Before we close, give me the over and under right now for you.
Wow. I would be happy with 83, 84 right now.
Okay. Well, I'll say 86, but Mert?
Yeah, I went with 84 at the beginning of the season, and as of right now, I'll stick with that. Hopefully,
okay. All right. At least none of us are going 72.
No.
Right now, they look like a 500 team.
Yeah, at this point, this is. I have to think that this isn't really indicative of how they're going to play all season. They
have to get they have to get healthy. Like we were saying, Cespedes has to come back healthy. Frazier has to come back healthy. Until that happens, I don't see anything more than a 500 team, and hopefully they can stay at 500 until those guys come back.
And hopefully the improved catching will really make the difference, 2 or 3 games here and there. That can really be the case.
The only good thing Matt Harvey did this year was bring Devin Mesoraco to the team. That's the only good thing he did this year for the Mets.
Yes. Although he did have us fooled in spring training. He was coming along.
Yes, he did.
He was.
So, I'm sure Will Pond saying, well, he sold a few tickets.
Yeah.
So,
really.
All right, guys. Thank you for another great show. Appreciate it. Robert Cole, Marty Rose. The show is New York City Baseball, past, present, and future. Maybe next week we'll look to the past a little bit, and we'll bring Skip Lockwood back and have him talk to us about some better days. How about that?
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Good.
Okay, Ralph.
And thanks again, guys. If you're listening out there, we are very appreciative. Again, Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. We're out of here. Thanks.
Okay, good night.
All right.